All right, guys. I appreciate y'all jumping on today. I can't wait for you guys to meet my special guest, Carlos, one of my partners here in business, somebody who's really impacted me. And I can't wait for you guys to hear his story, a little bit about him. Come on and check in.
Boom!
Hey.
Man, I love that music. That's energy right there. I'm pumped up, ready to rock.
Me too. I'm pumped up that I get to have you, and you're spending a few minutes with me here, guys. This is the ninja of real estate, and that was who titled you that? Who gave you that nickname?
Well, and there's a lesson right there. So let's start with the fire nuggets because there's a lesson right there in that question. And I know where he's going with this because Forbes magazine called me the ninja real estate, but that's not what happened. What happened was I started calling myself the ninja of real estate. Then Forbes did an interview on me, and they saw in my signature that I was calling myself the Ninja Real Estate. And they're like, hey, what's this all about? Why are you calling yourself the Ninja Real Estate? And I told them, oh, that's just a cultural thing I do in my team, in my office. I like to give us all titles that we need to live up to. And, I have every agent pick a title, something that they need to back up. Like I have somebody on my team called the Terminator. I mean, come on, you better come swinging if you're a Terminator. If you give a business card to your client that says that you're the Terminator or the Ninja Real Estate, or you're the Wizard, I mean, you're not just a realtor. So you got to bring in the hit. So that's kind of how it all started, and Forbes loved it. And to my surprise, they put it as the headline of the article, "The Ninja Real Estate," and it was super awesome. It's a great story.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I'm sure that you didn't. What you said there was actually pretty cool because once you title yourself and you give yourself that, it's almost putting your own feet to the fire because you can't back away from that. You've got to back
Right.
up and support that name. A quick story about me that's going to be funny. So I grew up playing pool, and traveling around the whole country, but like gambling, playing pool. It was a tough life, a
Yeah.
tough industry.
Yeah.
I got nicknamed the Gentleman.
Really?
Right, and that was very
Okay.
cool. It was by Rocky
Mhm.
McIlroy, who's like very well known in the pool world. Let me tell you
Mhm.
that was the worst name you could ever get because you got to live up to that name.
Yeah.
While everyone's cursing and yelling at you and trying to get you in 18 different ways. But it also, I made it through that. I was able to handle myself with poise and integrity, being amongst a bunch of tough situations, and I learned a lot of lessons because of that nickname.
Yeah, and that's kind of what these things do, right? And it goes in many areas. Like, okay, what standards are you living up to? Like, what are your standards? It's not only on your name, but a lot of people talk about like honesty, integrity. The agent that is going to provide you with the best service. I know the community. Unfortunately, those are all the bar already. Like that's just par for the course. Like
Yep.
in order for you to be exceptional, you need to hold yourself to a much higher level. And really that's where you differentiate. And in every massive success, in every big growth story, there's differentiation. There's a moment in time when somebody made a decision to be different, and that pushed the envelope. So
Absolutely, absolutely. So it's one of the big things that I wanted to have you on for is I was truly inspired by your story. The first time I ever heard it was when we were out in Wesley Chapel at the Wesley Chapel Sports Arena, the
yeah,
Harvest event that Jen and Jason put together. And I mean, I'd love for everybody watching to get to learn a little bit about Carlos. I'm so proud to be partners with you and be in business with you. And the
yeah.
support and the things you've taught me already are incredible. And I'm going to continue to learn. I love this family.
Yeah, absolutely. So, at the end of the day, the reason people love my story is because, I came to this country at the age of 15 with no knowledge of the English, no, you know, really magic bullet or anything to say I brought some skills or anything. I was a kid. I actually left my mom and my dad at the age of 15 to come to the United States to create a better opportunity for them. Coming from the Dominican Republic, being in a third world country, living in, bad side of town, it is always kind of a big thing when somebody can make the transition and come to the United States. And I was given that opportunity, and it wasn't an easy decision because I was a mama's boy, love my mom. My dad is my hero even to this day. And I'm a really like close family kind of person, and leaving my family to come to the United States wasn't easy. And they gave me the choice. They told me, hey, we have this opportunity. You can go and live with, my aunt and my uncle, and you can have a better education there. You can have a better life there. You can, live a better lifestyle there. And it was a hard decision, but I did it because I decided that I could provide a bridge to my parents so that in the future they could also come to the United States. They could also have that lifestyle. They could also have the American dream. And that's kind of where it all begins. And there's a lesson there. I've always been someone that sees opportunity, analyze it. I'm very analytical, but I'm really good at making decisions. Decisions that, in my opinion, I look at what's the worst that can happen, and as long as the worst is not something super detrimental, I can make those quick decisions, take those big risks, and making sure that I'm always pushing the envelope forward. So, what decisions are you making, right? What are those decisions that you need to make to
Yep.
take your business to the next level? So fast forward, from there, I went to school, learn English. At the beginning, I didn't even know how to say hello. The kids were always trying to teach me some words, but they were the worst words in the language. So I didn't get started in the right track, learning some of those bad words. But hey, I picked it up quickly and got an interest for technology, an interest for web development, programming. I started doing a little bit of that right out of high school. And when real estate came into my life, I was very happy with the technology field, and everything that I was doing. That was my passion. However, what I realized was that it had a ceiling. It didn't have unlimited potential. So I saw real estate as an opportunity to really have that unlimited potential. And I started real estate because I asked for a raise in my technology job, and I had to wait like 6 months for a response, and then it was shut down. Then I asked again, it was shut down. And I was like, I worked too hard. I got to the lead position there, and I was the guy that called at 4 a.m. in the morning when the blizzard came in, and I was living in Maine at this point. Um, the blizzard came in, shut down the networks, and I was the one that had to go in the middle of the storm to go and fix it. And I was installing networks and doing all this stuff. So real estate seemed a lot more fun and a lot more powerful. So I've always been a hard worker with my dad. He being always very disciplined. He's someone that has always shown us that you do what you say you were going to do, and you stick with it and you push through. So I got into real estate with that mindset of working hard and pushing and giving my all. And so I did. And I was working full time. My girlfriend, who's my wife now, and I were living in an empty apartment when I got started. I'm always looking at the best ways to move things forward, and I shut down expenses as much as I could. So we bought a sofa bed, moved into this empty apartment, and we just started going. She was cleaning houses because she didn't know a lot of English. She had just arrived from the Dominican Republic, and there's a whole story there. I dated her since she was 16 and I was 18. At this time, I'm about, I think, 21, 22 years old. So I started, and I'm working all out. I'm working nonstop, giving all that I've got, pushing as hard as I can, full time. But I was working on the wrong things. I found out. I sold 3 houses my first year. That's it, 3 houses. And I couldn't believe it. After all that work, that dedication, it was really tough. So, if you're a new agent taking a look at this and you sold 4 houses, congratulations. You're doing way better than I did. I know some of you guys are crushing it. I mean, some of these guys watching, I know they're selling 10, 15, 20 houses in their first year. And that's amazing. You're doing way better. My second year in the business, I figure a few things out, still working hard, only sold 7 houses. So it goes to show you that it's not only about working hard. You got to work hard on the right things. You got to work smart. And by my third year, I did. I realized that I needed to be connected to people who had already done this, who had proven systems, proven strategies, proven ways to scale a business and help me grow. And that made all the difference. A lot of the time we're thinking, man, I can do this on my own. I don't need any mentors. I don't want to go to that company because they charge a higher split. That's why a lot of agents fail. And 80% of agents or more, especially in the state of Florida, fail on their first year because they make those decisions. They focus on, I want to make the most I can out of one transaction. And some of them join 100% brokerages and stuff like that. And 100% of nothing is nothing. I know that's cliche, but it was my story. It's what happened with me. I ended up then transitioning, finding mentors, spending money on growth and development, and I went from 7 sales to 29 sales on my third year, then 50, 75, 100, 150. Now I have, so I mean, I was looking at numbers today, and this is a little bit of an advance on some stuff I'm watching, but my team, my small sales team that I run out of Central Florida, is a few transactions away from 100 deals this year already. Yeah, I know, right? So think about that. For a guy that didn't know the language, that sold 3 houses his first year, that was lost, didn't know what to do. The difference it makes when you're following the right track. I mean, you got to have the work ethic, the focus, the discipline, absolutely. But then working on the right strategies is super, super powerful and super key. And, I've been blessed to follow some great paths that have led me to where I am today. And, now I have partners all over the country like you, man. And I'm blessed to have leaders like you. And, I just crossed 1,500 partners yesterday. So it's
1,500.
really amazing. 1,500, 30 states, multiple countries. So it's been a really, really a whirlwind growing from the small, humble beginnings to where we are at today.
The title of this one is The American Dream, and you are that. Like I in a lot of ways, my upbringing where I started wasn't easy, but in a lot of ways it was spoiled compared to where you started. And the transition there and what you've overcome to get to where you are is incredible. The thing I love most about being partnered with you guys is that's being spoiled again, right? Like you started out
Yeah.
and you had to learn it all, and then you came across the people that you could align with. Because I mean, how in that story, how many years from when you were here or in real estate did you get to EXP?
Oh, wow. So I started my career in '06. I joined EXP in 2018. So we're talking about, I have been, what, 12 years in the business at that point. And now, I'm in EXP for 3.5 years. So the great thing is that I had a lot of success prior to EXP. I had no reason to join EXP, I thought. I was one of those guys that, you could bring something like that, and it just, I felt I didn't need it.
Yeah.
But sometimes we gotta look at it at a deeper level, and that's kind of what it took. So when you think about the normal model, right? What does an agent want? You want to succeed as an individual agent. Then at some point you realize you need leverage, and in order to have a great lifestyle, because otherwise you're running yourself ragged as a single agent. So you may decide to build a team, or open a brokerage. I did both. I started a real estate team and a brokerage for my team. So that gave me leverage. I was able to, amazing, I was able to put agents in my shoes, give them the same tools, resources, lead generations, and strategies, give them that path that I used to get to, the transaction volume that I got. And they were able to be successful. Actually, my first agent that I ever attracted, that I brought over to my team, is still with me, and the second agent, he happens to be my brother. He's still with me too. And they're both top producers. And I just put him in my position here, have it all. And I was able to step out of production by doing that over and over with many agents, and many of which have really become icons in their community. They've grown tremendously, built their brand, provide massive lifestyle for their families, and they just love it. So I was a broker for 10 years in
Okay.
that model, and then I found EXP, or EXP found me, however you want to call it. But I was happy. Leading up to that, fine. I had been featured on Realtor magazine at the 30 under 30. I had the Forbes article. I collaborated in a best-selling book, and that was one of my proud moments, being a best-selling author. And I was kind of at the top of my game. My team was crushing it. I bought a top of the line Tesla Model S. That was a dream car. I'm not a toy guy. I don't have a lot of toys, but I splurged on that one. I customized every option. I dream about that car for a while. Eventually, bought it, and that was kind of the moment I started thinking, okay, where to go next? What's next? So I was thinking, some of my agents deserve more. They deserve to maybe have their own offices, build an asset for themselves. And I started going into that direction. I started working with a couple of my agents to give them their own offices. And unfortunately, that just was really, really hard to scale. While I was doing that, I found EXP, which provided the same vehicle to add value to agents' lives at a higher level. Because the way I look at it is, yeah, my team provided a great living to my agents, but it wasn't really providing additional leverage. It wasn't providing an exit strategy. It wasn't providing the same opportunities that I had. And I had the opportunity to be leveraged, to do all these things, but my agents within my model didn't have that if they ever wanted it. Now, some agents don't. Like, I have agents that they could care less, about leading a team or whatever. They're doing their thing, and that's fine. I have some agents that they just want to make the most amount of money, and they're pocketing hundreds of thousands of dollars, and that's fine. But that agent that does have the hunger to be a leader, to grow, to build additional pillars of their business, I didn't have that, and EXP offered that opportunity. Not to mention that EXP gave them a way and a vehicle to earn a piece of the pie. In my company, my agents were building my brand, my pie, right? In EXP, they're getting shares for the growth that they bring into the company, and that is amazing. I love it because they're compensated based on their contribution, and there's no limit to that. So that was one of the big things that impacted me with EXP, because it made me realize that I could impact more lives than I was impacting in that small pond of my small team. I could do bigger and better things, and I could really, really change many more lives than I was changing at that time. So it gave me like a magnifying glass. It's like, if let's say you're a ray of sunshine, and you're shining on this little spot, but then all of a sudden, you magnify that and now it's shining all over the globe. That's the way I see it. And it's a lot more powerful.
I love that. And you know what I kicked back just now because I just started to think about the post that you made for Jay the other day, and I'm reading
Yeah.
through that and like just perfect truth, right? Like there's a guy who
Yeah.
uh, has always shared value and
Hmm.
saw this model, saw that he was able to share it and able to help build experts, give people knowledge on how to build a business. And not only was he doing what he loved to do, which was helping other people, but he was able to set himself up with a business that he could give to other people and other people.
Yeah.
Um, and your post there was spot on. Like what he has given to everybody is truly
Hmm.
incredible. And not only has he just given it to everybody, but like you and Veronica and Gil are pushing it to the next level for the next
Yeah.
generation. And I love you guys for that. And I'm grateful to be kind of get to be a part of that. Is
Yeah. And what I love about this is that it empowers all of us, like a person like you can find somebody, meet them, they tell you they're struggling, they need help, they need a proven system, and you're like, oh, let me show you. I got something for you. And let me introduce you to Carlos. Let me introduce you to Gil, Veronica, to Jay, and really that person is going to get the fast track
mhm.
to their goals because of that introduction that you're making, and we all win together. So that's the amazing thing. I always say, I'll help anybody. If somebody calls me, I'll help them all day long. I give them strategies. I support them. I'll get on one call, two calls, three calls. But in order for me to actually be partners with you and get in the trenches and work day to day and really really have a vested interest in your growth, it requires a higher level of partnership
Mhm.
because we're all abundant, we're all going to help. But sometimes to take your business to the next level, you need a deeper level of assistance and help. And there needed to be a better way. And that's what EXP has done. EXP has created a model where, we all have 24 hours and we got to be smart with our hours, but it's creating a model where now we're all in financial alignment with each other where if I take an hour to mentor James and teach him how I do things, which I have done, and he's a great implementer, and if I take that time away from my family, I know he's invested very well because he's invested in my family's future. It's invested in James' future. It's invested in all of our future, and it's a way way more collaborative environment, a
Mhm.
much better way to grow together. I mean, I've never seen anything like it, and I've been around the block,
No,
so it's amazing.
you hit it on the head there because what happens is you just run out of time. Like you run out of
Yeah,
minutes in the day that you can adapt, and then all of a sudden, the 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 phone calls you were going to answer where you want to help that person, you're in order to take that phone call during the hours you're utilizing for real estate, you're taking time and essentially money away from your family. Is what
yeah,
happens. You have to make that
yeah.
conscious decision. And inside of this model, it truly is a blessing because it shares extreme value inside of our organization. But even outside, we're constantly sharing value and trying to make people better. And
Absolutely.
that's part of like the drive and the love that I've seen here since I've been here. And the other thing about the short track. So last year, and this is just a little brag alert, but last year, I was right at like 27 sales. And this year, so I've been here for 6 months, and so far in 6 months, closed and currently pending, we're either right at 40 or 39 in six
Amazing.
months. It's truly amazing
Yeah.
when you partner yourself with the people that can show you not only how to find the business and to bring the awareness to the community about who I am, but
Hmm.
to safely facilitate more transactions. The scaling of it has to happen in the right way where you have the pieces in place where you're not worn out. You're not in a position where you don't know how to service that. And you guys have definitely provided me with plenty of insight on how to get there. That's for sure.
Yeah, and also it even elevates your game being around so much energy of success. This is definitely a circle of winners, and I love how we're always raising the bar for each other. We're always, looking at a better way to do business, to grow, to impact more lives, and that alone is super powerful because even if I don't talk with let's say Jay tomorrow or the next day, but I see him out there making an impact, crushing it, doing big things, it rubs off on me, and it's the same with all of us. And you are an average of the people you surround yourself with, and being in a circle, in an environment, in a community where it's all amazing winners that are crushing it in the business, selling, as many as over 1,000 transactions a year. That right there is gotta empower you. It's gotta level you up. We got the accountability groups where you hear how people are making commitments every week, and publicly being held accountable, and having performance partners that they connect with on a weekly and daily basis. And we have our momentum Mondays to make sure we help our agents drive sales, and making sure that they're always finding out about the best strategies that are working right now that can get you a deal within the next 30 days. And we have our high level masterminds where the top 10 leaders get together and share ideas on growth. How do you get to 500 transactions, 1,000 transactions? How do you build an organization of 1,500 agents in 30 states and multiple countries? And it's all open book because we're
Yeah,
partnered together. So I mean, I could talk about this all day long, man. I mean,
me
I'm just
too.
having the most fun I've ever had because we're making such a big impact, and it's just super cool.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, man, I appreciate your time and you being on here. And just to wrap up a little bit there, this is going back to when I first met you. That was when I
Hmm.
said it. I was standing there. I might have, I don't remember who I was around. I remember that Jason was there, and I remember that Lori from the title company was there.
Hmm.
And when I first, like, I sat down and I like wanted to make this big thing, right? So Jay, Veronica, Jason all take the time to get on one Zoom for me. And the biggest fear is probably everyone's fear. Like, hey guys, listen, if I come over here, I know that you're saying that you're going to help me, but you got to help me, right? Like, you got to really help me get to where I want to go. So I'm at that harvest and I'm standing there. Veronica was standing there too. And I remember saying I'm a huge Red Sox fan. I was like, guys, listen, I thought it was the coolest thing in the whole world. I'm going to Fenway. I get to hang out with the Red Sox for a day, but I'm there for a few weeks, and all of a sudden, I feel like a Red Sox. Like, I feel like,
Hmm.
and that's two-way street, right? Like, I like pushing myself. I like being around people that are constantly pushing me. But you guys open armed, like you guys actually welcomed me to the family and made me feel like I belonged, and that's something that I really needed.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a piece of the culture that we're super proud about. What we've been able to build, it's different. The way we embrace people, collaborate, add value. It attracts the right people, and it continues to bubble up and evolve and expand. So that's really, really awesome. And I always like to make sure that I'm making the most amount of impact, leaving the most amount of value. And what I would say, anybody that's checking this video out, just think about a few things. First of all, are you taking time to strategize and think about your business on a long-term basis? A lot of the time we're just focused on the day-to-day transactions, and we don't take the time to uncompress and look at, okay, what do I need to do long term? What are those strategies? What are those principles, right? And then think about, how can I today slowly start taking care of my future without changing anything that I'm currently doing? Right? And there's multiple ways to do that. We have our ways, you'll have your ways. But a lot of people, you ask that question, most of them I'll tell you, I'm gonna buy some houses, I'm gonna buy some real estate. However, that's a big lift, and many times they don't. Many times they don't get to it, and 5 years go by. 10 years go by in the industry, and they never buy that first investment property or that second. So it always helps to be an environment where people are doing that at a high level. They're working on their future, they're putting the pieces together. But at a minimum, I would say make sure you have a plan on how you make that contribution today to your future self, that your future self will thank you for the sacrifices you made today. Don't find yourself 10 years from now wishing that you would have made the commitment today to change your life for the better and for your future, because that is not a good feeling. And don't be like the frog. I feel like I was a little bit like the frog. I was very successful. I was great. I was, having a great business, and comfortable, but I had so much more to give. I had so much more impact to make. I had so many lives that were waiting for me to come and enter their environment and bring them value. And maybe you have that and you're not contributing that at a high level. And it is something that you can do in many ways. It is something like, hey man, just get on Facebook and add some value. I mean, James is doing it here, and he's bringing you his circle to impact you. That's one way of doing it. Go live, make some videos, change someone's day today. We have such a big platform. Make sure that you find ways to impact people at a deeper level. And that's kind of the message that I want to leave them with, because we were all brought into this world for a purpose, to make an impact, to leave this world a better place than it was before we arrived here. And there are many ways to do that. And if we're not doing that, then we're cheating ourselves of our true potential.
I'm gonna start calling you Ninja Yoda. That's your new name, Ninja Yoda.
Love it. Love it.
Awesome, man. Hey, we can finish on that. That was strong, plenty strong, and there were so many cookies that you dropped in there. I appreciate you taking the time to spend with me, you taking the time to spend with everybody that's around me and watching this video. And yeah, man, I can't wait to do it again.
Man, thanks for having me. And yeah, now that everybody knows the story and the impact of that, we can come back and drop some systems, some tools, some ninja tactics on leveling up their business. So we can definitely do that on the next one.
Let's do it. Thank you, man.
All right. Thank you for having me, bro.
All right.